Hey there, Ruthhaven Grounds family. You know what gets me incredibly excited? When I discover simple, natural solutions that completely change the game in my garden. And today, I'm sharing something that's been an absolute revelation for my soil health. We're talking about two ingredients you probably toss in the trash every single day: eggshells and charcoal. I know it sounds almost too simple to be true, but stick with me because what I'm about to share has genuinely transformed the way my plants grow. Let me start by saying this isn't just another gardening hack that sounds good but delivers disappointing results. The eggshell and charcoal combination works on a fundamental level to address some of the most common soil problems we face as gardeners. I've been using this mix for the past 3 growing seasons, and the difference in plant vigor, disease resistance, and overall soil structure has been remarkable. Eggshells bring calcium carbonate to the party, which is essential for cell wall development in plants. When your soil lacks calcium, you'll see it in blossom end rot on tomatoes, tip burn on lettuce, and weak stems that can't support heavy fruiting. But here's what most gardeners don't realize. Calcium doesn't just feed your plants. It actually improves soil structure by helping to bind soil particles together, creating better drainage in clay soils, and improved water retention in sandy soils. Now charcoal is where things get really interesting. When we talk about charcoal for gardening, we're specifically looking at biochar or pure hardwood charcoal without additives. This porous carbon structure acts like a 5-star hotel for beneficial microorganisms. The tiny cavities in charcoal provide shelter for bacteria and fungi that are essential for nutrient cycling in your soil. Plus, charcoal has an incredible capacity to hold onto nutrients and water, releasing them slowly over time exactly when your plants need them. Okay, so I'm going to get a bit nerdy here for a moment because, understanding why this works will help you use it more effectively. Charcoal has a massive surface area relative to its size. Just 1 gram of activated charcoal can have a surface area of over 3,000 square meters. While the hardwood charcoal we use in gardens isn't quite that extreme, it still offers tremendous surface area for nutrient absorption and microbial colonization. When you combine this with the slow-release calcium from eggshells, you're actually creating what soil scientists call a soil amendment synergy. The charcoal holds moisture and nutrients, while the calcium from the eggshells slowly dissolves, raising soil pH just a bit and providing essential nutrition. Together they improve cation exchange capacity, which is basically your soil's ability to hold onto and exchange nutrients with plant roots. I've tested this in different areas of my garden with varying soil types, and honestly, the results have been consistent. In my heavy clay section, the mix improved drainage noticeably within 1 season, and in my raised beds with sandy loam, water retention improved significantly, meaning I could water less frequently during those hot summer months. Let me walk you through exactly how I prepare this soil amendment. First, save your eggshells from cooking and baking. I keep a container on my kitchen counter specifically for this purpose. Rinse them briefly to remove any egg residue, which can attract pests and create unpleasant odors. Then, spread them out on a baking sheet and let them dry completely. This usually takes about 24 hours in a warm kitchen, or you can pop them in the oven after you've finished baking something, and let the residual heat dry them out. Once your eggshells are completely dry and brittle, you need to grind them into a fine powder. This is crucial because whole or chunky eggshells can take years to break down in soil. I use an old coffee grinder dedicated to this purpose, but you can also use a mortar and pestle, or even place them in a sealed bag and crush them with a rolling pin. The finer you grind them, the faster they'll release their calcium into your soil. For the charcoal component, you want pure hardwood charcoal or biochar without any chemical additives or lighter fluid residue. I cannot stress this enough. Do not use charcoal briquettes from your barbecue if they contain additives. Look for natural lump charcoal or biochar from garden centers. Crush the charcoal into small pieces, roughly the size of peas or smaller. You don't need to powder it like the eggshells because the porous structure works best when there's still some size to the pieces. My go-to ratio is 2 parts crushed eggshells to 1 part crushed charcoal by volume. This gives you a good balance of calcium supplementation and soil conditioning benefits. For a standard mixing batch, I typically prepare about 4 cups of eggshell powder mixed with 2 cups of crushed charcoal. This is enough to amend several garden beds or a large number of container plants. Now that you've got your amendment prepared, let's talk about how to use it effectively. The method you choose depends on whether you're working with established beds, starting new gardens, or managing container plants. For established garden beds, I work about half a cup of the eggshell charcoal mix into the soil around each plant, scratching it into the top 2 to 3 inches of soil. Do this in early spring before plants really start their active growth phase, or in fall as you're putting your garden to bed for winter. The amendment will have time to integrate into your soil ecosystem and start working its magic before the heavy growing season demands kick in. When starting new beds or significantly amending existing ones, I mix about 2 cups of the amendment per square foot of garden space, working it thoroughly into the top 6 inches of soil. This might seem like a lot, but remember that charcoal is incredibly long-lasting in soil. Some studies suggest biochar can remain active in soil for hundreds of years, continuously providing benefits. For container gardening, which I know many of you focus on, mix roughly 2 tablespoons of the amendment per gallon of potting soil. Container plants have limited soil volume to draw nutrients from, so this amendment really shines in pots by creating a more nutrient-dense, water-retentive growing environment. Here's something I wish someone had told me when I first started using this amendment. Don't expect overnight miracles. This isn't a quick-fix fertilizer. What you're doing is fundamentally improving your soil's long-term health and functionality. In my experience, you'll start seeing noticeable differences within 4 to 6 weeks. Plants develop stronger stems, leaves take on a deeper green color, and overall vigor improves. By your second season using this amendment, the differences become, pretty dramatic. I've noticed significantly reduced incidence of calcium deficiency disorders, improved drought tolerance, and better overall plant resilience to stress. My tomatoes in treated soil consistently outperform those in untreated areas, with fewer issues and heavier yields. One unexpected benefit I discovered is improved soil pH stability. The calcium carbonate in eggshells acts as a gentle buffer, preventing wild pH swings that can lock up nutrients in stress plants. If you're dealing with acidic soil, this amendment provides a slow, steady pH adjustment upward without the shock that can come from adding lime. Like any soil amendment, there are some situations where you'll want to adjust your approach. If you're growing acid-loving plants like blueberries, azaleas, or rhododendrons, use this amendment sparingly or not at all, since the calcium carbonate will raise pH over time. For these plants, you can use the charcoal component alone to get the soil conditioning benefits without the pH adjustment. If you notice white residue on your soil surface after applying the amendment, don't worry, this is simply undissolved calcium carbonate and will gradually incorporate into the soil with watering and time. Some gardeners prefer to apply the amendment and then top with a layer of mulch to keep things looking tidy. For those of you with already alkaline soil, you'll want to be more conservative with application rates. Test your soil pH first, and if it's already above 7.5, consider reducing the eggshell component by half, or focusing primarily on the charcoal benefits. What I love most about this eggshell and charcoal amendment is how it fits into a broader sustainable gardening philosophy. You're taking materials that would otherwise be waste and transforming them into valuable soil nutrition. Every dozen eggs you use in your kitchen provides enough eggshells to treat several square feet of garden space. That bag of natural charcoal you bought for grilling, a small portion of it, crushed and added to your garden, will provide benefits for years to come. So, I've started thinking of my garden as a closed-loop system as much as possible. Kitchen scraps become compost, eggshells and charcoal become soil amendment, and healthy soil produces abundant food that, generates more kitchen scraps. It's just incredibly satisfying to participate in these natural cycles rather than always reaching for store-bought solutions. This approach has also changed how I view other potential amendments. Coffee grounds, wood ash, and other common household items all have roles to play in building exceptional soil. The eggshell and charcoal combination is just one tool in your arsenal, but honestly, it's such an effective one that it's become a cornerstone of my soil management strategy. I hope this deep dive into eggshells and charcoal has you as excited as I am about the potential in your own garden. Start saving those eggshells today, grab some natural hardwood charcoal, and begin your own soil transformation journey. I'd really love to hear about your results, so drop a comment below and let me know how this works in your garden. If you found this information valuable, make sure you subscribe to Roothaven Grounds for more practical, science-backed gardening advice that actually works. Hit that share button and pass this along to your fellow gardening friends who are always looking for ways to improve their soil naturally. Together we're building a community of gardeners who understand that healthy soil is the foundation of everything we grow. Happy gardening, everyone.